And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. I was talking when we went into the break. We were discussing the November 6th elections. Well, this one is coming up, and this is in Mississippi. If you remember, Senator Thad Cochran resigned earlier this year, and that has brought about a special election in Mississippi, and that's going to happen on the 5th. And the big election, so I don't know, I guess this is big to them. It is big. Is going to be November 6th. But this is a special election for their senator seat. It says under the Magnolia state law, all candidates, regardless of party, appear on the same ballot. Should no candidate win a majority of the votes, a runoff between the top two vote getters will be held in December. Right now, as it stands, it says, this is coming from NBC, found that Epsy, who is the black and served as Bill Clinton's Secretary of Agriculture, he's a black man. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember a lot about that. I wasn't into the media as much back in that day as to what kind of a Secretary to Agriculture that he was. So if you were, you can give us a call and let us know. But he's leading right now by 25% of the vote. He has 25%. He's not leading by 25. He has 25%, and he's followed up by the appointed Republican Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. I wish they'd quit hyphenating their names. Hyde-Smith, and she has 24%. The fellow Republican and state senator Chris McDaniel has 18%. And then another Democrat that's running is Toby Barty with 4%. So he is way down on the poll. So this will be an interesting race as to which party ends up on top. Now, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about his politics as far as Senator or Epsy. He was Secretary of Agriculture. So I don't remember a lot about what he was doing because I wasn't involved during the Clinton era in media. I didn't even start working for. Maybe I was, but I just don't remember him. So if somebody else does, you can kind of send us a note or let us know about him. So this is going to be interesting how this turns out, and if they don't have a majority win, then they will take the top two. They're all on the same ballot. Top two will be on the ballot, and whether it's the same party or two different parties. It looks like it'll be two different if it's, but it just depends on how they go on the November 5th. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, when I was talking about Kanye West, and I'm just going to hit on this briefly, and in my monologue, when I talked about the stupidity and the boldness of what they say, do they not remember what they did not so long ago, or how they confessed, or that they wrote a book? Well, Donna Brazile, she says he was embarrassing. And she was interviewed. We had a lot of interviews this week. Donna Brazile got interviewed. Melania got interviewed. I did not enjoy Melania's interview. I thought she handled herself very well, but I thought it was a continuous trapping, trying to get her to say something against her husband. They even asked her, do you love your husband? Do you ever remember anybody else asking any other president's wife? They could have asked Hillary that after he cheated on her numerous times. Do you love your husband? But they didn't do that. They didn't ask Michelle, do you really love Barack Obama? They didn't ask anybody that. But they asked Melania. Well, anyway, Donna Brazile says, the president is self-absorbed, and I thought it was another episode of the Kardashians featuring Donald Trump. It was embarrassing. She went on to say, it's not about a black man sitting in the Oval Office hugging a white man. That doesn't sound racist at all, does it? It's about a black man who didn't know his history. He repeated bad stereotypes about black people. I was embarrassed, and Kanye needs help. Well, I wouldn't doubt that Kanye needs help, but not for the same reasons that she's saying. Was it not embarrassing that she slipped Hillary Clinton the answers to some of the questions in the debates, or the questions, so she could study up and get her answers on the debates? That she wrote a book about it? Here she confessed wrongdoing, and she thinks he's embarrassing? Well, like I said, President Donald Trump was interviewed over the weekend as well. I guess I missed it. I saw snippets of it, but I didn't realize it was coming up. Friday night, I really wanted to watch Melania, and I watched part of that, mostly all of it, of that interview, and I really thought they were disrespectful to her. They weren't out and out loud mean, but it bothers me. You know, she's... I don't necessarily agree with Melania on everything, but it bothered me how they kept trying to get her to say something against her husband, as if she was on trial, sitting there in the seat, you know, being grilled. Well, President Trump came out saying climate change not a hoax, maybe, not sure of its source. He thinks something's going on. He's not sure if men are causing it or it's just a cycle of things, but something's going on. Well, yeah, it is. And perhaps Americans should worry about the real threat. This is coming from me, of climate change. The real climate change is of the emotions here and the violence here in our own streets. I still believe those are minorities. Not minority people, but a minority of the large group of Americans, whatever color they are. But we had another incident over the weekend, Saturday evening in Portland, Oregon area. But we need to be more concerned about the climate of emotions, of the lack of education and understanding of Constitution, including myself. We need to get in there and study it more. The violence that's going on in the streets, the new climate against rule of law, or for lack of respect for law and order. That is the climate change we need to be concerned about. Not whether the earth is warming up by some minute percentage, but how we've, as Americans, are labeled and separated. That's a purpose. That's by design. Why can't we agree even when we disagree? Are we trying to do what's best for the people as a whole? Or are we trying to just have our way on a certain day? That's not equality. That's not liberty. Wanting socialized medicine is not independence. November 6th, job evaluations. You need to get to the poll and make your voice heard. And do whatever we can to bring America home.
Are you proud to be an American? There should be pride in every American heart. In its